McGuy here. Today we're going to be doing the part 3 of the tower defense game. So far what we have is a path and balloons that follow the path. Today we're going to be changing up the path, adding some delete clone logic, adding a shop, and yeah. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is show you guys the power of these path points and the system we've created. So let's duplicate this. So we have 6 total blocks, and let's change this to, and I'll read it out loud, negative 240, 90, 70, 90, 70, 0, negative 100, 0, negative 100, 90, negative 100, negative 90, and the last one is 240, negative 90. And so just like that, if we hit the green flag, you can see that we've created a completely different completely different path that's now working. And obviously this part is not working, and we can fix that right now. So it has to do with this logic right here. And the way to do that is to just decrease how fast it is, which is something I wanted to do regardless. And so just like that, you can see that it will start to work. So this is just a little workaround for right now. And as you can see, it goes to the end. Now one of the problems we have is that there's no health, and when you go to the end, nothing happens to the clone. So the easy way to do that is to create a new variable, and we're going to make this public, meaning it's for all sprites, and this is going to be called health. What we need to do is change health at the end by -1, and then the next thing is to simply delete the clone. What we need to do next is set the health in our stage. That's where I like to do all this stuff. I'm kind of setting the global variables. We're going to set health to 100. And so as you can see, we start with 100. And as it starts to reach the end, you can see that you will start to lose lives. So let's see if this works. And looks like it's working. Awesome. Not the greatest animation for now, but we can always change that. Another thing I wanted to show you guys was that I renamed these sprite names just to be a little bit more clear about what it is, because I feel like that's very important. And yeah, so the next thing we want to do is introduce a shop into our game. So we're going to do that is by creating a sprite. It's going to be with a light gray background, and we can have it take up this much. We don't want any outline on it, and we're going to add a little kind of like a pop-up almost, make it a little bit smaller, and we're going to have the text shop. And as you can expect, it's not going to be in this color, it's going to be in black. And we're going to bring this down, and we're going to put it in the middle here. And we're going to change the costume later on in the series, or if we get around to it in this episode. Also want to stretch this up just a bit, and yeah, looks good right there. So the next thing we want to do is find a comfortable position. So it looks like this is somewhere around here is good. And so what we're going to do is say when flag is clicked, we want to go to this position. And the next thing I want to do is bring in a new variable called shop_y and a new one called shop_open with a question mark. And both of these are going to be global variables, meaning it's for all sprites. And we introduce these variables because we want this to animate, and we have to have other sprites kind of coordinate with it, so we have to track the position. So one thing we need to do is drag in a forever loop and say forever go to this position, but instead of having a constant for the y, instead we're going to set our shop y to -213, and I think -210 is actually better. I like to have it end in a 0. And then in here, we want to go to the shop y. The next thing we're going to do is set shop open to false. And this false just means no, true means yes. Pretty straightforward, but this helps see if the shop is actually open right now. The next thing we want to do is create another logic block. So we're going to say when flag is clicked, forever, if, go into operators, bring an and in, and this is going to be if touching mouse pointer, and mouse is down, so I shouldn't have duplicated that. We're going to bring in an if else block, and we're going to say if shop open equals true. So, or if shop open equals false, if shop open equals false, what we want to do is repeat until. We want to bring in a greater than. We want to change this to 200, and let's do 110, and we're going to bring in the Y position, circular block right here, and we're going to change shop Y by 10. And so let's see if this works. As you can see, if we click on it, it brings it all the way up. So shop Y of 110 is way too large. I meant negative 110. And so that way, it brings it up just enough to see what's in the shop. So we need to work on making it actually close. So the first thing we want to do is set the variable of shop open to true. And so once we've set the shop open variable to true, we can add the next piece of logic, which is going to look very similar. We're going to duplicate, and we're going to say, okay, if the shop is not open, repeat until the Y position is less than, and that's a little cheat code. Instead of bringing another block, you can do negative 210 or negative 200, change shop Y by negative 10, and then set shop open to false. So I'll explain this logic quickly because I didn't explain it too much, but let's see if this works. So if we click here, it opens, and if we click back, it closes. Perfect. That's awesome to see. So basically what's happening is, first of all, we have a dynamic variable called shopY, which changes because obviously it goes up and down. We're saying if touching mouse pointer and mouse down, which is basically saying if the mouse is clicked and the sprite is clicked. If we have a shop that's not open, we want to open it by moving it up and then set that it's open. Otherwise, if the shop open is already open, we move to the else and we say, okay, let's go down and hide, and then set the shop open variable to false. And you can see that the shop open variable changes perfectly. And I just want to add a costume to make it look somewhat better, and a changing costume. So we're going to create a square. We're going to use this tool, delete one of them, and then rotate and make it a little bit smaller. It's still a little bit too big. Oops. So can we bring this here? Perfect. We are going to, I think even shrink it even more. There we go. Just so it looks right. And then we're going to call this costume closed, and we're going to duplicate the costume, call it open, and we're going to flip this so that you know that you can bring it, you can hide it if it's open, or you could show it if it's hidden right now. So what we want to do is change this costume dynamically. And so the way we do that is when we start, we want to switch it to closed because obviously it's going to be closed. And then when you set shop open to true, obviously it's going to be open. Otherwise, it's going to be set to closed. So just like that, we have a fully working shop. We can click it to open, and the arrow shows us which way it's going to go if we click it. And yeah, so that's all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. We had the shop fully functional. Here's the script if you need it. So yeah, subscribe, hit the like button, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.